Sweet Queen, how you doing, baby? Good to see you. Thanks for being here this morning, guys. Thanks for being here. It is 4:15 in the morning, 4:16. Today is October the 21st. It is Tuesday, October the 21st. We out here on this walk and talk. Let's get up this morning, people. Let's be bold. Let's be brash. Let's be positive. Let's be determined. Let's get to work. Let's get to doing the things that we know are going to move us forward. Let's get focused on our goal. Let's get focused on our drive. Let's get to getting to it. This morning is going to be a great morning, people. Coming to you live from the East Coast of the United States here in Maryland. Make sure, as always, people, as you check in, make sure you drop down below where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. I'm saying good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's get in here and get motivated. Let's get started with the understanding of what it means to be purposeful, to be pleasant, to be powerful, people. And today, our conversation is going to be about quiet discipline, people. It's going to be about quiet discipline. It's how quiet work builds loud results, people. It's about how what we do does not have to shine the light on that doing. It's the results that we achieve that are most important. I want to talk about it this morning. I want to share it with you. I want to share my experiences with doing the quiet work. I want to share my results, how it's built me, how it's helped me to become stronger, how it's helped me to develop and grow. We need to understand this with this work. It's purpose. It's having a purpose that turns our routine into results, people. That's what we have to do. And all of this is predicated on discipline. So if you're trying to grow your finances, you're trying to grow your wealth, you're trying to grow your life, you're building legacy, whatever it is you're working on, let's do it this morning with determination, people. Once again, thank you for being here. It's Oluropo. Let's get up, let's get at it, people. I am on here live first thing this morning. Also, people, just to let you know, I am not AI. It's real life. And for those of you who may not have seen me in a while, trim this down a little bit. I'm trying to look less like I'm 80. So let's have fun this morning. Thank you again for being here. The purposes of this walk and talk this morning, as always, is to get centered, get focused, be determined, and to build. Now is the time to get to work on whatever it is you're doing, wherever it is you're going, whatever you're trying to achieve. How you do these things starts with getting started. There is no how if there is no start. Until we get up and we start putting one foot in front of the other, it doesn't matter how we think we can do it. It matters what we start to do it. So this morning, people, let's get up. Let's start to do it, and keep in mind, quiet discipline is not the same as disappearing. Many people are trying to convince you that, oh, you have to disappear for 6 months. Work in secret. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You have to develop discipline. Part of being disciplined is understanding that while you're working, you focus on the work. If we focus on our work, we'll see the growth. We'll see the development. We'll see it all. Beautiful Tuesday morning. Up here at the top of the hill, people, the seasons are changing. It is starting to become cool, and we're starting to feel it up here in the Northeast. So I'm just going to let you see my little top of the hill view. As I prepare to take my walk, prepare to go out. Just making sure that everyone can hear me this morning. How's everyone doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Tal said, good morning. Thank you, Tal, baby. Thanks for stopping in. So guys, what does it mean? What does it truly mean to have quiet discipline? How does quiet discipline build loud results? Well, let me share it with you. The way I share it may not be so quiet, but the way the discipline works is through quiet. And so we're going to talk about this morning. Hi, are you on a gang? Is that Lincoln? Yeah, dude, I'm on this BNV. BNV, top on top. What's up? Are you in a gang? You trying to get in this gang? You can get in the legacy gang. Legacy starts at home, baby. So here's how quiet discipline works. First, we have to understand that there are 4 pillars to discipline. The 4 pillars are repetition, patience, consistency, and perseverance. When you put them together, they achieve things. Ultimately, what they do is they work on you, because it doesn't really matter what the goal is. It matters if you have the ability to achieve that goal, if you have the ability to grow and be what you're looking to be at the end of that goal. Good morning. How are you doing, Cal? So quiet discipline works in this way. We have to understand those 4 pillars, and then we have to understand that it takes time to get there, right? So that's that patient part of it. So when quiet discipline goes to work, the way it looks for many may be like we're not doing anything, because we're not doing it with a lot of show. It's not about coming out and being loud in what we do. It's about the work that we do when no one's looking. It's about the focus on the purpose and growing. So quiet discipline requires of us to be invested in a purpose and invested in ourselves. Because once we develop discipline, it doesn't matter what the goal is in front of us. We now have the ability to achieve it. We have the ability to grow, to go into it, to become powerful as we do it. So many of us are looking for ways to find motivation, to find someone to push us along, to find a way to build strength. And we reach for many things. We reach out for relationships. We reach out for religion. We turn to prayer. We turn to worship. But it doesn't matter, because until you turn to performance, until you turn to getting the work done, we're still going to be out here missing the calling, missing the mark. This isn't new. This is just an opportunity for us to just realize, to break it down into its most direct and undiluted form, to understand that quiet discipline can do quite a bit. Does this mean you have to be a quiet person? No. What it does mean is when work gets done is when no one's looking, right? Like if you only work hard when people are looking, you only show up and perform when there are others there to applaud you and cheer for you, then you're missing the mark. You're doing a disservice to yourself, to your growth, to your purpose, and to your goal. Because if your reward is the reward of people seeing you, you've been rewarded. There's nowhere to go from there. There's nowhere to go from there. If your reward is just being seen, then you've been seen. Congratulations, you've been rewarded. We've seen you, we've clapped for you. Let's go. What do we do from there? How do we grow from there? How do we turn what we're experiencing and how we're showing up in our own lives into more than that? The only way to make that change, the only way to turn it into more, is to understand at this point, there's a requirement for me to get some work done. There's a requirement for me to perform in the time when I am not on a stage. So we have to do that quiet work, that work that no one sees, that work that doesn't get applause, that work that works on us, makes us stronger, makes us better for where we're going and what we're doing. That is how quiet discipline works. And we want to do it consistently, people. We need to do it consistently, but until we get to consistency, we have to start with repetition. That's the first step, people. Repetition. What does repetition mean? It just means show up, keep doing it. Keep showing up, keep doing it over and over and over. That's what we have to do, because once we get to a point where we learn that the repetition part is where we learn, where we grow, it's what sets that foundation. It's what gives us the ability to acquire and build on the skill, become better at it. And we do this with patience. And then this transitions to consistency. Because we cannot be consistent at something to which we don't have the talent or the skill or the tool set to perform. You can't be a consistent runner if you've never run. You have to learn how to run. You can get up and go out and run with repetition. You could do it often, doesn't mean consistently. It always requires this step in this growth. It's exciting because in my own life, I had to understand that the work that I did had to be off the field. So when I was a young personal trainer, I used to just jump into training sessions with clients. And we go through some movements as far as, hey, this is the workout. But I never really identified or stressed to the clients that what we were doing is a warm-up to get the body prepared for fitness. And so we're going through the movements, and I had a client who I didn't know was working out multiple places a lot. She was working out 2 or 3 times a day. She was trying to achieve a goal in 30 days where she should have been looking to achieve this goal in like 90 days. But her interest and intent on trying to achieve this goal did lead her to having multiple workouts, multiple places, putting a lot of strain on her body. So she ends up with a lower back strain. And so when this happens, she comes and she has this conversation with me. Oh, my other personal trainer said that in order for me to do this or in order for me to do that, I have to be able to do this first. And so at that point, I started to ask questions that I had not asked of her previously. And it dawned on me that putting on the show, being out there, leading the group training session, let's go, pumping people up was cool, but I hadn't connected yet with my clients. I hadn't learned that the quiet work is the work that I have to do on me to make sure I'm building the type of person who can have empathy, who can have understanding, who can see the things that aren't being said, who can ask the right questions and look for the right results. All of those things are things that are going to be relevant and pertinent to my life, not necessarily to just being a personal trainer or just a trainer for an individual. It's about being better for the clients. It's about being better for me. It's about me building. So when I started to do that, that's in quiet. I had to sit down. I had to read. I had to study. I had to get to know myself better. I had to figure out what this is supposed to look like. How do we do this? How do we ask these questions in the right way? And so that work that I did in quiet translated to how I was able to perform, engage, bring on new clients, talk about the importance of things, and get the results that we're looking for. It takes time, but that time is quiet. It's not disappearing. It's just you focusing on the times when there are no eyes on you, on getting the things done that you know need to be done. All right. My camera decided to have a mind of its own just now. There we go. Good morning. I'm not sure I can read all of that. I have anxiety because I stutter. Again, I'm a nurse and I have to call always someone at hospital. I'm scared about that. Can you give me some suggestions? So Alma Himsar. Alma Himsar. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So sure, we can talk about it, but before we get there, is this stutter from childhood, and does it show up more in specific situations? Is there a certain environment or situations that you get into that lead to the stutter? Have you spent any time working with any doctors, speech therapists, or anything like that on the stutter, the speech impediment? So I need background. I don't want to just give you random thoughts. Yes, childhood. Yes, if someone's there, more than 2 people, I stutter more. And if I call, okay, understood. So what you're sharing right now is that you've already identified that there are circumstances that increase the stutter, right? So have you spoken with any doctors about it, any therapists, and what have they shared with you? And the reason I'm asking is because I'm not a speech therapist, but a lot of things that we deal with in life as humans arise because there is a concern or a fear, and anxiety can lead to other things. It can lead to feelings of inadequacy or challenge, and that can make a lot of people have difficulty showing up in certain times. No, they have no interest. I'm in Germany. Okay. So thank you for checking in from Germany. What time is it there, by the way? So here's what I want to share. For anything that we want to do, for any part of our life that we're building, anywhere that we're going, we have to understand that there's going to be challenges. We don't have to hate what we do. It doesn't have to be something that we're against. But for everything that we do, we have to do what's necessary to get it done. One of the things that is going to always be important is to make sure you are taking the time to work on yourself. Now, whether they are practices or exercises, again, not being a speech pathologist or a therapist, I don't know the exact exercises or focuses that there are, but you could definitely look those up. Make sure you're practicing those. The next thing is going to be conquering that anxiety, that fear. The way we conquer fear and anxiety is to understand that it is based on an expectation that we have from prior experiences. And so there are experiences that we've had in the past, and we have a tendency to hold on to the poor or bad experiences longer than we hold on to the good ones. We place more weight on the bad experiences than we do the good ones. My recommendation is going to be working on overcoming that fear. Now, one of the things about overcoming fear is the best way to overcome fear is to put yourself in an environment where that fear is, right? So, they tell people, hey, you're scared of sharks, let's take you to sharks. Sounds like a horrible idea. But here's the thing. Fear is something that happens inside of you. You don't make fear go away. You can't say, hey, I don't have fear. So what do? You say, hey, here's this environment, here's the situation, here's how I feel. I'm not running away from it. So I have to deal with it one way or another, right? I'm going to be here. So I may as well deal with it in the way that makes me most comfortable. As you start to do that and you start to build the confidence of being in that space, you should see the stutter reduce when you're on calls and when you're in front of more than 2 people. The other thing that you want to understand is that most humans are understanding. Most humans have empathy. Most humans have patience. And so in what you do in your field and the calls that you have to make, even though you're speaking to someone who is not exactly in your presence, the focus is on knowing what you're talking about, being professional, having confidence in what you're sharing, and then doing it in a way that allows for you to continue to build strength and experience. I can't give you specifics on the stutter because I personally don't have one, and I haven't studied this area, but I do know for the fear, the only way to truly overcome fear is to face it, right? And I'm not telling you to go out and start, walking into arenas and speaking publicly, but I am suggesting just for the things that you see that create challenges and obstacles for you, to face those head on, to start to look at those things and challenge them where they are. And a lot of this work you're going to do, like I'm saying right now about quiet discipline, a lot of this work is going to happen in quiet because it's work that you're working on with you. A lot of it's going to go with understanding that when you're speaking, the things that you're sharing, there are going to be some things that are in repetition. And so I have a question. For the things that you say often, do they become easier, or has the stutter decreased any in those things that you say often? Because if you can find a pattern there, then you can start to work on being able to share in a way that allows for you to be more repetitious. But definitely building the confidence of overcoming the fear is going to be important. And that's not work that you do in front of people. That's work you do on you. That's work that you do in quiet, and then the results show up as you go out and perform. That would be my suggestion for you in that particular situation. And one of the keys to understand is that having purpose, right? What you're doing, the work that you're doing for a purpose. Having a purpose makes discipline powerful. It turns routine into tremendous results. You're 100% right. In like 5 years, I already motivated every day myself, and I did it. I graduated. Awesome. I'm so tired about a war with myself. Every day is a new battle. Continue to fight. But we have to understand that every day is a battle because we're continuing to grow. You're continuing to work. So that's part of living. I want to share this. When we talk about, hey, well, my life looks a certain way, or I'm having a certain experience because I changed the job, or I got married, or I moved to a new city, or whatever the case may be. When we talk about those experiences that we have in that space, we have to understand that we're living. Life doesn't have challenges until we start living, until we want something, until we're working towards something. Prior to that, we could just quit. Life doesn't care. If you don't want to get up, you don't want to go to college, you don't want to make anything of yourself, you don't want to be anywhere, quit. Life's not going to come to you and say, hey, I need you to go do this for yourself. That's not how life works, as much as we would like to believe so. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means in order for us to start to see growth, in order for us to actually be living, we need to be going towards something and growing in a way. I want to applaud you on your results and the work that you've done, because it's hard to be motivated every day. It's difficult to get up every day knowing you're working towards something, and that some days feel like you've made no progress. That's perseverance that we're building. That is a part of discipline. And so when we go into this and we start doing this work and we start growing, we are living. Living is living is the essence of discipline, because we continue to grow, and as we grow, there's challenge. Where there's challenge, there's change. And so that is the awesome thing about understanding and moving in a way that inspires growth, understanding, and developing. It's like, that's living at its core, not just being alive. So I want to cover again, guys, what we're talking about this morning is the power of quiet discipline, right? How discipline, when no one is looking, is so powerful because the noise is in the results. The loud recognition and understanding is in the results. It's in the outcome of what we've done. It's in the building of ourselves to be the best version of ourselves everywhere we show up. It's more important why we do what we do than how we do it, where we do it, who we do it for. When we have a purpose, routine becomes exponentially more powerful, right? Because when we're working towards something and we're able to develop discipline and build a routine, then the process starts to build on top of itself, and it starts to compound. And then every step becomes a bigger step. It becomes another step on top of the previous small step. And so as we continue to take these steps and we continue to journey, we find ourselves developing understandings, discipline, knowledge. We're doing work that is helping us to grow. And when we learn to enjoy that work, not just do it, but actually learn that, hey, the work I'm doing is the definition of living. Like, this is me living. Like life isn't just getting up and going to work. There are experiences happening around us at all times. There are places to learn and engage at all times. And if we withdraw ourselves from the experience and we don't enjoy it, then we're doing ourselves a disservice, right? Because we have to understand that living is different from being alive. The work we do in quiet is what allows us to enjoy the results so loud, to be so boisterous and upstanding and loud when the results come, because we're building ourselves. I cannot stress to you more how important it is to understand that the quiet discipline that you show in your life will show up in so many areas. And it requires taking a step. It requires getting started, and it requires building from there. And the four pillars, guys, there's 4 pillars to discipline. Many people believe discipline starts with consistency. It does not. You can't be consistent at something to which you have not learned the skill or have the tool set. It's bottom line, you can't. It starts with repetition. That's why so many people is like, oh, well, I'm gonna get started when I get ready. As soon as I get my money right, I'm gonna get started. Well, as soon as I get this, or as soon as I find this job, as soon as I pay off this college debt. So everybody's waiting for a situation to become perfect or for something to be different in order for them to do something. You can't wait, because many of the lessons you have to learn in order to be able to achieve the goal or do the thing, you can't learn until you start doing it. Period. I don't care how much you study, how much you look at, how many people you talk to, until you start to build the skill, you just can't learn these things. There's no way of you knowing the things that you don't know. There's no way of you being able to say, hey, this is what I need to do next, because you haven't learned what you need to do now. It's really powerful when you start doing something that you don't know, but you know where you want to go. When you start building on something where you know that you're trying to achieve. You know that you're looking to get somewhere. You know that the work that you're doing is leading to a result for you. You're aware of all of these things. You know that there is an outcome that you're looking for, but that you're not there yet. You don't even know all of the things necessary to get there, but you know you have to start. That is quiet discipline. That's when you get up and you're like, okay, let me learn what I need to learn. Let me learn the next thing. Wow, didn't know that. Okay, that was something I was already doing. This process of developing ourselves and gaining this talent and building is what's going to catapult us into a place of being able to do so much more. Because it is at this point that we're learning that the work on ourselves, the work we do, the way we walk and the way we grow is taking us somewhere. It's leading us to something. We stop looking around at what others are doing and we take the time and the solace to sit down and work on ourselves and ensure that we're growing. It requires that. It is a requirement. It's not something that's too hard. It's not something to hate. It is simply something that must be done. And when we do it and we do it correctly, the results are undeniable. Completely undeniable. Because once we start to do the building and the work that needs to be done on ourselves, we continue to see in ourselves changes and growth. We move from one place to the next place. We move to the next step and we move on. We see ourselves becoming more powerful. We see ourselves becoming more polished and dedicated, more capable of achieving in ways that we hadn't seen ourselves do before. And then as we start to build these tool sets, now we can make a plan. Now we can work on being consistent. I don't know where you're at today. I don't know what you're doing today, but I'm telling you, quiet discipline can change your life. Discipline, period, has an impact on your life. But when you understand that I can implement my discipline and quiet, I can work on me. I don't have to be on the job. Everybody doesn't have to be cheering it. I don't need to be out there where everybody can see it happening. They need to see the results. I need to see the results. Wherever you are and whatever you're working on, coming to this realization that the results are loud and they speak loudest in your life leads you to great things. As you said, I was waiting for the perfect time to live my life. For me, my graduation from nursing academy. I did it and now I am so complicated too. Right, because you've achieved that, but you're still living, right? There's relationships, there's work, there's growth, there's legacy, there are houses and vacations and dinners. There are all of these things. To learn how to cook, how to repair my car, how to do things, fitness, swimming, running, all of those things. I want to do lots of things and I can't choose it. Which hobby I want to have? Well, here's what you do. Here's what you do, and I want to share this with you, Alistair. And I hope I'm saying your name correctly. What you want to do is start working. Start a thing and choose that and stay on it. Because what you'll find out is as you start to do one thing, it works on other areas, right? A lot of the time, we are so consumed with wanting to do so many things that we do nothing, right? And that sounds kind of like the situation you're facing right now. Take a moment, choose a thing, and let's start doing it. Here's what happens for a lot of people. This is the difference between perseverance and patience. Patience is when you say, okay, I'm going to start this. I know it's going to take time. You start to learn it. You do some work with it. You stick with it a little while. Maybe you even start to enjoy it. And then you're like, okay, your body will always ask at every point in your life, your body will do this. Your body's going to say, why? Why are we doing this? Why are we trying this? Why are we swimming? Why are we running? For most people, and this is where purpose turns routine into power. For most people, there is no why. There is no answer to it. And life is always seeking why. Why are we here? What are we supposed to be doing? If you cannot define a why, for many people, it becomes, let me do something else. Right? So they never really hit the consistency stage, because when you understand the why, that's when you create a plan. And so for the things that you say you want to do, you have to ask yourself why. You're going to need to know this before you get started, because for so many of us, we like, oh, well, I need to get this done, I need to get that done. But really all you need to understand is why. You knew at the beginning when you started school why you were going to school. I want to be a nurse. I'm going to school. That's what I'm going to do. Period. Doesn't matter. Nothing else. I want to be a nurse. So you do the work. And when it gets difficult, you do the work. And when you get tired and it's hard and the classes are challenging and you can't understand the principles, you do the work. You get up and you do it. When it's tough, long nights, you lost the book, you can't find the paper, you don't understand the you get to work. You do more work. Understanding that this is how we start to grow. This is how we start to see ourselves become stronger, is because we have a why. And now this routine of going to class, this routine of getting up, this routine of reading books and studying, it has a purpose. And when we pursue it with discipline, we see tremendous results. It's the same thing with living your life. Even if the purpose is enjoyment, even if the purpose is, I want to see how good I can be. I want to understand how much I can actually do or achieve. When we figure out that why, we go out and we do that thing. We pick it, we say, I'm going to do this. And this is where it becomes perseverance and not patience. When you understand that why, you have to make a plan. And when you make a plan, you're going to have growth. And now you have to show up consistently. Repetition just means to show up. You don't have to have any level of proficiency. Just start doing it. Falcon, what's good? How you feeling, Unc? Nephew, good to see you. So when we start talking about this purpose and having this why, now we're saying, okay, I'm moving, I'm living now, I'm doing this. Perseverance is when that thing becomes challenging. Because see, when you choose a hobby, right? When you choose a hobby, you don't have to do it. I don't have to be putting myself through this. You don't. You most certainly do not. You don't have to be putting yourself through it. Why are you doing it? Because I'm living, and I understand that the process of living is the challenges that we place in front of ourselves. It's the things that we do that build on us. So what are the challenges? What are the hobbies? What are the things that you're doing that are forcing you constantly to build and mature and nurture yourself? Those things are where we start to build those results from. And so what I'm sharing with you is take your time, but start something. I think the military has this phrase that says, hurry up and wait, right? When they're like, everybody go, 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 stop. We're going to be here for 7 hours, right? It's like, we need you here now. Get here, get here, get here. All right, your ride's going to be here in 7 hours. So it's hurry up and wait, right? So it's sort of what we have to do when we're building on our life is we have to hurry up and wait. We have to get started. We have to start moving. We have to put in the time. We have to find this thing, and we got to go. I can't wait. I can't wait for things to be perfect. I got to go. I got to get started. And then we have to wait. We have to say, oh, whoa, this is going to take time. I know this isn't going to be easy. I know there's work that needs to be done. I know there's work that I need to do on me, but I have to do this, and it's going to take time. I have to be patient So hurry up, get started, wait. Your result's not going to be immediate, right? That is how we truly start to see this growth. And that's what I mean when I say quiet discipline is what gets us the results. It's that work that we do when everybody else is doing something else and nobody's looking at us. It's that extra rep. It's that extra set. It's that getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning when you don't have to go to work. That's one of the realizations that I had to make for myself, is that I found on the days when I had to work, I got up and got myself ready for work. And on the days I didn't get up for myself. I didn't get up and be disciplined to work on myself and to live my life. We have to understand that it does not matter whether you're going to work for someone else or going to work on yourself. Discipline is what gets you up and gets you started. Linda, it's TJ. TJ Lane, okay. I'm not sure who that is. Falcon, I heard a dude say, you're talking too fast. And another dude said, listen faster. He said, nah, you listening too slow. I ain't talking too fast, you listening too slow. Alma Himsiar says, if I choose a thing, example, guitar, playing, learning, I feel like I lost piano and boxing and swimming. What I choose, I lost other things. And my goal is being proof in the top. Oh yeah, you want to be professional in something. Choose a thing, I get it. That's part of living, right? It's not sacrificing, it's making a decision. I'm choosing this thing and I'm committing to it. And the thing about it is, this is what perseverance is, and this is where patience is many people choose things. And then once they get started on that thing, when that thing gets difficult, they want to put it down and pick up something else. And that's why you have people who have tennis rackets, footballs, guitars, microphones, keyboards, weight benches. Their garage is full of stuff they started. That's why you go into your friend's home right now and their treadmill is a clothes rack, right? They were pumped when they got that treadmill. They spent the first week on it working out as hard as they can do. Now their Peloton is holding pillows. We have to make sure we understand that the work that we're looking to do for ourselves requires us to show up. It's that simple. But that's part of living. Those other things aren't things you're losing. Those things just aren't the focus. Right? Now, if you want to be the person who's like, hey, I'm professional at 50 different things, it's going to take a lot of time. You're going to have to persevere because it takes work to do any of them. I need to put 3 hours in on guitar. I need to put 3 hours in on boxing. So if you're saying that you have to invest 9, 12, 15 hours in these different hobbies and you still got to go to work, make that your job. Make your job being posting that content while you develop 5 different hobbies in 1 year. Make that your social media experience to share with people. But it's a challenge, which is why we choose. And it's okay to choose. And it's okay to be happy with the choice. We oftentimes as humans spend so much time worrying about the things that we didn't get that we don't appreciate the things that we already have. How to choose. If I tried already all of them, I'm 30. Well, you're 30, and if you tried all of them, unless you're George Foreman, I'm going to say, let's not go back to boxing. Let's do boxing as a health and fitness thing. If you want to practice, if you want to work on the guitar, let's go to work on the guitar. If you want to go to work on fitness, let's go to work on fitness. Whatever you choose, though, whenever you choose it, understand that there's going to be a point where your body is going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore, because you're telling me you tried all of them, which means at some point you were sure that this is what you wanted to do until you didn't want to do it. That's perseverance. That's the part that gets beyond the patience and said, hey, this is a challenge. Why are we doing it? If you cannot define a why, you'll stop. It's that simple. Let me see. Sharon, good morning, Sharon. How are you doing? Indy, thank you for being here, Indy. I need 40 hours in a day to live, right? I need 40 hours in a day. Almosphere said I need 40 hours in a day. Not only do I need 40 hours in a day, I need 10 days a week. Falcon, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for that. I did boxing. I was 17 and I was just 6 months. Yeah. So we have to understand when we're doing the work, guys, when we're out here and we're like, hey, I want to grow. I want to become better. I want to become stronger. All of those things are just things that we're saying to ourselves, I need to put time in on it. I need to invest in it. I need to be committed. I need to be disciplined. If we're not committed and we're not disciplined and we're not doing the work that needs to make us move in that space, then we start to say, okay, well, maybe I should be doing something else. This is where perseverance begins. Because if you did it when you were 17 and you did it for 6 months, at some point in that 6 months, what happened is you hit a window. You hit a wall. You hit a ceiling. You hit something that says, hey, you're here, but in order to get to the next place, you're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to give more. And you're like, well, what does more mean? Right? And we all face that in everything that we do. Anything that we say we're committed to and we want to see growth and discipline in, as we start to apply the discipline, it's going to be a point where we're doing good and it's like, you need to do better. And you're like, what does that mean? I don't have better. Like this, like I'm giving it all I got, Captain. So, I'm sorry, it's a Star Trek reference. So what does that mean? What it means for us is, when we're doing this work and we're building, we're growing ourselves, there still has to be a point when we get good, we have to go from good to great. We have to understand that there's another step, there's another level. In order for us to take that next step and make it to that next level, we have to learn how to challenge this next level. We have to learn what's the thing that's going to make it more difficult. What's the thing that's going to change where we are and what we're doing. And that's part of the process. That's why I said you have to hurry up and wait. You have to hurry up and get started. And then on this process, you have to show up with repetition. You have to be patient. And when you're patient, you can develop a plan in which you pursue with consistency. And as you travel along that plan, sometimes when you're 16 years old and you're 5 months into it, a 14-year-old who's been doing it since he was 5 puts you on your bottom. And you're like, okay, maybe I should be playing guitar. You run into a challenge, you hit a wall, or a wall hits you, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. If we do not have a why, it is not a purpose. And if we don't have a purpose, it's easy to quit. Just because it's challenging doesn't mean it's not for us. Just because we can't immediately do it doesn't mean that we can't do it. That is discipline. When there's no motivation, when there's nobody in the gym to tell you you got it, when there's nobody else telling you how fast your hands are and what your footwork looks like, and you got a body built for boxing, when there's nobody telling you to do that, and you are losing to yourself, when you are in the midst of growing yourself and you're working on yourself and you keep losing to you, you keep telling yourself one more round and you keep not making one more round. You keep telling yourself we can do this and you keep not getting it done. That's perseverance. That's the point when you have to say, I have to get up. I have to get up. I have to get up. All of these movies that you watch about boxers is about that moment. They all have that moment where it's done. It's over. There is nothing left. You've done your best. Stay down. Just stay alive. Don't kill yourself. Just stay alive. This is what we have to learn to push through. This is what we need to learn to grow through. This is how we have to learn to develop ourselves and our talents, to understand that when we go to work, on going to work, we see results. When we start to build ourselves, even when it's challenging, we know that we're living, and we know that there are results on the other side of it because we're doing it for a purpose. And no, it's not easy. No, it is not. That's why it's called perseverance. It's to preserve, right? It's to preserve the soul. It's the salting of the soul. It's that thing that it doesn't matter what the challenge is, you're going to be able to endure it. Right? Good morning, Willie Cooper, good morning. How are you doing? See, perseverance is that part of us that says, it's hard and I've given all I have. And I really don't have anything else. I don't know what else I could possibly do. There's nothing left for me to do. And then we get up and we say, okay, well, I'm gonna keep going because there has to be something else for me to do. There has to be more for me to achieve. There has to be more that I can do to improve. There has to be. There's no choice. There's no option. It has to be. And we start to apply ourselves in different ways. And this is what quiet discipline is. This is what quiet discipline is. It's when nobody else is there, guys. It's just you and the light switch. Are you going to turn it on or not? No phone calls. Every motivational quote on your wall is just staring at you. And it's like, get up. You got to still get up. And what I'm saying is, love the experience. As challenging as it is, understand that this is living. Listen, whether you're crying, laughing, or working, it doesn't matter. You are living. Those are the experiences of living. And when we do this work, we do this quiet work on ourselves, and we do it with discipline. We're not hiding. We're not hiding. I'm just doing things at times when other people aren't. You're not hiding from anybody. You're just active and you're engaged when others refuse to be. You're not going away from your friends. You're not changing who you are. You're working on who you are. And when you grow, there's change. It's impossible not to be. Get it in, Willie. Keep doing your thing, man. I want to encourage everyone out there to understand when we talk about discipline, we talk about repetition with patience, knowing that we have to learn the skill. We cannot apply it until we know it. We cannot be consistent at something that we don't have the knowledge and the tools to perform. And that's the first thing we do, is we learn the skill. We develop the tool set. Now we can work on consistency. Now we can work on consistency. But we can only work on consistency if we have somewhere we're going to. See, we have to have a destination. You gotta have something up there, right, to work towards. If you're not working on anything up there, then you're just doing something, right? People used to ask me, hey man, why do you work out? For life. Like, I work out for life and I enjoy it. That running part, not a big fan, but not a big, hey, let's run 5 miles. I'm not your guy for that one. But we get the work in. We do the work because we understand as we start to do the work, as we start to put in the time, we start to see growth. And we know we're doing it quietly, not hiding, not in secret, just not making a lot of noise when we do it. You know the guy when you go to the gym, who's hitting the heavy bag, and he's making the sound for the bag. You're like, man, just hit the bag. Is it? You know he making the sound because when he get tired, all you hear is, oh, you ain't got no oxygen left to sis. That's what it talks about. Work quietly. I don't have to put on a show. I don't have to hiss every time I hit the bag, but I know I'm gotta keep hitting this bag. I know I gotta keep showing up. I gotta keep doing this work because I'm going towards a goal. Alamanhing Sar, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that. Falcon as well, thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate you guys being here this morning and being a part of the walk and talk. It's important for us, guys, to know as we start to grow and build on ourselves, as we start to develop the patience, the repetition, the patience, the consistency, and we learn to persevere, and we start to build that perseverance, it will make us, it will move us forward. It will make us grow. Willie Cooper, thank you, brother. Thank you this morning. Thank you very much for that. We need to know, guys, we need to let ourselves know on a regular basis that when we get up and when we get started, that our purpose is living. We're always living. And it's not about being a show. It's not about someone seeing us. It's not about whether or not we're the best at whatever we're doing. It's about the fact that we're living. And this process of living requires us to live. It requires us to do so. And when we do so with a true interest in seeing ourselves and others do well, it makes an impact. Almashai says, you're welcome. It's not enough donation for your motivation speeches. I really appreciate that. I'm glad I was able to contribute and offer something to you this morning. I know for my own personal growth, many of the challenges that I faced started with the way I wanted to show up, but I wasn't doing the work to be prepared to show up. I remember in school, and this is one of the things that I share with my son now, math was easy for me. Math was easy for me because I was a big fan of sports. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and my father was a cab driver. How do those things tie together? I'm about to share. So in Washington, the license plates at that point were just numbers. It was 3 numbers and then another 3 numbers. And so when I would ride around in the cab with my father, he would say, okay, add those up. So sometimes I had to add them straight across. And then he would say, okay, long form. So now I need to add these 3 digits, 328 to 114. Like I needed to look at those things and add them up. And so I found it challenging and it was rewarding because I was spending good time with my father. And then I started to watch baseball and football. And I remember about 6 or 7 years old, Dallas Cowboys lose to Pittsburgh at a Super Bowl, and then I needed to understand what needed to happen for this team to win because they became my favorite team at that point because I'm sitting there with my brother, my older brother, and he switched teams every time somebody scored, and it made me sick. I was livid, right? But I picked the team with the star on the helmet to start the game. And I remember at that point really doing a lot of learning. I needed to understand how many points you got for a touchdown, how many points you got for an extra point, what was the field goal, what was the safety, how do I get the score to here? If they score this much, how much do I need to score? How much time do I have? How can I get, like I really got into the math of it. And then I started to become a fan of baseball, and I needed to figure out why somebody hitting 273 was a good thing. What was so important about being able to hit 400? What does that mean? And so I had to learn fractions and decimals. And I'm young and I'm this sports fan and I'm just getting into learning all of these things. And so math became easy for me. And then as a teenager, I get into high school. And the classes that I'm taking in high school are this. I'm a year younger than my older brother. We're in the same math class. He would show up. He would show up and put in all of his work and all of his time. He would go home and do the homework. He would like really buckle down. And then it'd be time for a test. I come in and do the review before the test. Take the test, I get a 93, 95. He takes the test, he's getting like an 80, 87. He's like, I don't know how you're doing this, because at that point, I had put so much work in my math that it made sense. Everything else was just doing math differently. But what I wasn't doing was the quiet discipline. I wasn't doing the studying. I wasn't doing the late nights. I wasn't reading the books. I wasn't doing the homework. And as easy as math was for me because of that experience, there became a point where I started to fall behind. I started to be less proficient. The challenges became greater and I wasn't able to meet them because I had not appropriately prepared myself to be successful in that space by the quiet discipline, the quiet work that I did when nobody was looking. But I got the rah, rah, rah. Yo, man, he got a 95. He ain't even been in class all week. It was big there, but I wasn't building on me. I hadn't learned what discipline was and how powerful it was and how much it could accelerate my growth and push me so much further ahead. And so I had to learn that. I had to work on it. Even as a young man, even as a young adult, same thing, same challenges. Not understanding why, not understanding the steps to be able to develop it. But once I did come to the understanding that, hey, doesn't matter who's out there. It's not about that. It's about doing the work to be prepared. It's about learning the things that are necessary for you to be living your life, and then you're in a situation where you're prepared. You prepare yourself for the opportunity that's ahead. You don't look for the opportunity. Willie, math was always a problem for me in school. Oh, dude, math was a breeze for me. Of course, I just explained what I went through, but we all have the challenges. And so when we do something, right, when we talk about growth and development, we want to focus on those things. We want to find the things that are going to help us to grow. And we want to put those challenges out there for ourselves, right? Math in school is a challenge because someone else has told you you need to do this in order to be able to do that. That's not a challenge we chose. That was a challenge we didn't have any choice in, right? My daddy never graduated the 6th grade. He never made it past the 6th grade. Because life in his era told him that things were different and that you needed to go out and you needed to make a living and you needed to start a family. You needed to get to work by the time you were 12. So we have to start to figure out for ourselves. We have to understand when we're saying that we're living, that this life requires an investment from us. It requires for us to spend time working on ourselves and living, and then benefiting from that with quiet discipline and growth. Falcon, dude, it is not easy. It's not, and you've been here enough to know that I keep saying, man, it's not easy. No, it's not. It's not. It is not. That's why we need discipline. That's why we need patience. That's why we need perseverance, because it is not easy. It is not easy. Give me a second. Let me see. Willie said I had a problem with staying focused, mainly because of home life. I get it. I know the experience. I know, yeah, my daddy was a tax dodger. You drive a taxi, you get paid in cash. They get to the end of the year, they be like, yo, I want mine. He's like, I live in Tennessee now. Moved a lot. But I understand, and we don't have a lot of control over that as young children, right? And then as we become older and we become adults, we want to make sure we're changing that experience for our children. We always want to see our children do better than us. So how do we do the work? We have to work on us. We have to stop looking at our past that we can't change, and we have to reframe it. We have to start using it as a way of understanding that it gave us power and we grew from it. We learned from it. It blessed us with skills and knowledge that we would otherwise not have had. Every experience, no matter how bad, helped us to learn something and to grow. And then we need to start to apply it to continue to strengthen ourselves and grow ourselves. And as we do so, we change our experience. We change the experience of our children. We change the experiences of our own lives, and we start building legacy. Cyrus says, with discipline, everything was easier. Without it, it's hell. It is hell. Discipline allows you to put it into order. Not saying it's not going to be challenging. Not saying it's not going to take time and work, but it's going to get there. Falcon said everything except art and women was difficult for me in school. Paul said, wise man. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much for listening and being here. Willie said, do you have a program for people who need financial education? I'm in the process of developing that now. I do have some steps that I've taken and some things I've done in my personal life. It'll be a part of the membership tier, specifically working on the financial discipline and moving forward. That's why, even though I have the ability to make memberships, I have not yet put those out because we're developing the curriculum and everything that we want to have, and we want to make it available for the viewers and the fans to be able to access. But we haven't completed that process. We're close to having it, and I want to launch it as a complete, fully developed, dedicated idea. Not just something random, not just something to talk about, but actual structure and actual work and progress to go towards growth and implementing discipline specifically into the spaces of finances to help build legacy. Alman said, do you read lots of books? I used to read a lot of books. I don't read as many books as I used to. I take in a lot of information now from documentaries and interviews, and then I read articles about the individuals. I do a lot of different reading, but not specifically books. Steve R. says, what are your thoughts on all these people protesting? Depends on what you're saying they're protesting about, where they're happening. RKS says, hey, welcome in, Ryan. Good to see you, brother. Looking leaner in the face. Hey, I cut the beard down, man. I cut the beard down. I cut down the beard. The beard, man, I was tired of people saying I look like one of the Yeti commercials. You know, the Yeti thing? I was tired of people saying that. Thank you for being here, RKS. Let me see. RKS says, that's it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the beard, man. I cut the beard down. But yes, guys. So I do want you guys to know that Stephen R., I'm not sure if you're still there, but if you could be more specific, I don't have a problem with sharing on that. But I do know for our development and for our growth, I know for our own legacy, I know for who we want to be. What we're talking about today is quiet discipline. We're talking about the work that we do when no one else is looking. I want to challenge you guys today. I want to challenge you for whether it's the start of your day, the end of the day, or going into the next day, right? We have got to understand that when we talk about quiet discipline, it is a requirement for us to go out and look in that area of our life, because a lot of times we can have the repetition and the performance in certain areas like our jobs, but we need to find that same discipline, the quiet discipline, to work on different areas of our lives. My challenge for you today is to find space. Find that thing that you want to work on, not something that anybody else told you about, something that somebody says you need to do for your job, that thing that you want to work on for you. Find it. I want you to sit down and I want you to take a moment to look at where you are and where you want to be, and then start working on it. Quiet. You don't have to disappear. You don't have to stop showing up, but you need to know that, hey, this is something I need to work on. I don't need to tell anybody. I don't need to tell 9 or 10 people. I need to sit down, I need to write it down, and I need to get focused on seeing the growth in that space. I need to focus on demonstrating the behaviors and taking the actions that'll see me grow in the most proactive and predominant way in that space. That's going to be quiet discipline. And then when we do that, start to really take steps towards achieving that goal. But today, find out what that thing is. I don't know if it's your fitness. I don't know if it's your faith, your family. Find out what that thing is that just needs more of your focus, right? Because quiet discipline is not about the rah-rah. It's not about the show. It's about the results. It's about knowing that you say, hey, I want to improve my relationship. Hey, I want to improve my fitness. Hey, I want to improve my faith. I need to take actions. I need to do things. I need to get started. I don't care. Get up, do 10 squats. I don't care. Walk in a room. Tell the person that you care most about that you care about them, that you love them. Whatever it is, your finances, start setting the money aside. Find the thing that needs your quiet discipline. Start to do it. We all have spaces where we want to see ourselves grow. And we all have the ability to make that growth and to make those changes. I want to continue to encourage everyone. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Thank you for being a part of the Walk and Talk. Please like, subscribe, share. As the channel continues to grow, we want to continue to provide more opportunities and more ways for us to engage and help grow and to help others to be strong and positive in their lives. Alaman said, German president said, foreigners make the city bad looking. I am also a foreigner and thinking about moving to the USA. Make sure anything you do, Alaman, is for you, right? Try not to make rash decisions or any decisions based on running away from something. This is something that I've always had to tell myself. I cannot run away from me. And if I'm leaving and I'm going somewhere else, I have to be running to something. I cannot run away from something, because whenever we're running away from something, we don't know where to go, because we don't know where we're going is where we want to be. We just know it's not where we were. And I understand how you feel, and I applaud you on your courage and your determination. Just take your time and make sure when you do leave, USA, Thailand, Kenya, Russia, I don't care. Wherever you decide to go to, make sure you're running to that place and not away from Germany. It's got to be big. Contentment is a blessing. This is Falcon. He says, contentment is a blessing. The grass is not always greener, but just as hard to mow. I like that, Falcon. I like that a lot. Again, guys, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for your support. Go out, guys. Implement quiet discipline. It's repetition. You put it together with patience, and that's going to help you to learn the skill. You're going to then couple that with consistency, which is working towards a goal. And as you start to grow, you will build perseverance. You will learn that the salting of your soul and the preserving of your spirit is the thing that is going to catapult you into the stratosphere on whatever it is you're focusing on. And this is how discipline works. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being here this morning. I want to thank you for taking the time. Black Kososa, Black, what's going on? Good morning, bro. Good to see you. I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate everyone taking the time. I appreciate everyone who took an opportunity to donate and contribute to the channel. Thank you. It will go towards the growth of what we continue to put forward and put out. Paul, take care. Good luck, man. You too. Thank you all for being here. And as you go out into your day, I want to say, as always, guys, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. Until next time, God bless you. Take care.